Well, hello and welcome to the Waking Up Spiritually podcast. We're so thrilled to have you join us today. I'm Wendy Rose Williams. I'm a past life energy healer. I help people release pain, anxiety, depression, and other energy not serving them so that they can live a much happier, healthier life and enjoy their purpose. So I'd like to turn things over to my wonderful co-host, Greg Kirk, and we've got a very special guest today, and he will tell you more about her.
Hello, everyone. I'm Greg Kirk. I'm a energy worker. I'm a Lyme disease advocate. I'm a certified health and wellness coach, helping people with chronic illnesses with Lyme disease in particular, but I also do in-person energy healing sessions and remote sessions via Zoom and via the phone and WhatsApp. You can also run weekly online group healing circles and periodic in-person group healing circles in the area where I live. You can check out all of these things at gregkirk.com, and that's spelled G-R-E-G-G dot, that's my GREGGKIRK.com. So, Wendy, today we have the first guest we've ever had as a guest, an interview guest on our show. And every year she tells us she's a true sidereal astrologist, which is a very specific type of school of astrology. She's been giving us for the past 5 years predictions of the year to come. So without further ado, let's admit our guest into our broadcast, Debbie Buss. Debbie, you're going to turn your video on, and we welcome you from the UK.
Hi, Debbie. Welcome. It's great to
Hi.
have you here. And
Thank you for having me.
we're looking forward to talking about the year to come because lots of big information and changes.
Oh, yes.
Well,
I think you can tell by this amount of slides.
right. Yes. Prior to the broadcast, we had to get our technical ducks in a row so that Debbie can present. She's got twice as many slides as she had last year because she's got a lot to talk about. And I'm sure everybody wants to hear her predictions about 2026. So
Yeah.
without further ado, let me get
And
this.
for those of you who are listening, you're able to also go to our website, which is wakingupspiritually.com. And that's where you're able to pull up the PowerPoint that Debbie will be using and referring to. So listening is great. And then if you want to see this as a video, as a PowerPoint, you'll be able to see it there.
Okay, Debbie. This is your first. Okay, so this is what I'm going to do now.
You can remind me now what we got to do.
Okay. I'm handing over controls to you, and you should be able to use the arrow keys on your keyboard to advance the deck. There you go. Perfect.
Yay. We've got it.
Take it away.
Take it away. Okay, thank you again, both of you, for inviting me back. And I think it's really important to kind of sort of when I started to kind of talk about and start to research what was happening or what is happening and coming in for us, particularly next year and the next 2 years, in particular, this I had to bring in the Chinese metaphysics, a subject that I pretty much found me, or I found it back in January of this year. And it's something that I've always kind of been interested in, but I've never kind of dived fully into it. And for me personally, 2025 was a year of transformation, hence the blonde hair, hence turning 50. Everything started, I felt, was really started to kind of unfold and sort of peel away those layers. Because, like I said, I don't remember last year, we were moving into this kind of new transition of a university year of 9 endings, beginnings, tying up to loose ends. We're also in what's called the wood snake year. So anything when we talk about snake, again, it's peeling off those layers. And so I can probably hear you all say, yes, 2025 has been a fast year. I look back and I think, where have all those months gone? but it's also been a huge transformational year for myself personally and for the clients that I work with and those who I see. So I didn't want to kind of just dive into this without actually looking at, okay, where are we now? So if we look at kind of Chinese metaphysics, the year hasn't even started yet, not until February the 4th. So we've got a couple of months left to tie up. And as we go through the slides, I'll start to kind of talk about what is ahead. But if we kind of look at where are we now, the biggest thing I can say is we cannot go back to the old way of working. Things no longer can go back. And I mean, when we kind of talked about COVID in 2020 and how everything was happening then, it was pretty much on the precusp of what is coming into now for it. And for those, I remember doing, I can't remember if it was this podcast, but I remember doing one in 2019 and saying that by March 2020, if you didn't have your business online, then there was going to be some significant kind of changes. So a lot of businesses actually went because they didn't have that online facility. And when I don't always make predictions because I don't want to be, but one of the big things that I remember was saying that everybody needed to put their business online. And there is going to be a prediction that's come in again for the next 2 years. So we'll see that through the slides. So, as I said, the year is all about kind of astrology, numerology, but also the year of the Crimson Horse and the period 9, which we will talk about. So let me just make sure I got this right. Yay. Okay, hang on, go back. So, as usual, everything that I do is based on sidereal astrology. It's based on ancient accuracy. So, I started my practice many, many moons ago under the guise of tropical astrology, like most Western astrologers are. But in 2020, 2021, I started to see a difference and started to feel a difference within myself and what I was seeing out there. So come around 2022, I literally changed my entire practice over to sidereal astrology, and I haven't gone back since. Because to me, when you see something, there's no one way that you can unsee it. So for me, it is about working with where we are, what is happening currently in the sky. At the moment, tropical is very much about Sagittarius season and all that kind of thing. It's not. The sun hasn't even gone into Sagittarius yet. It doesn't move into Sagittarius till around the 18th of December. So we're currently in what's called Ophiuchus. So Ophiuchus is the healer. Many astrologers link it to either Chiron or Mars because Ophiuchus sits at the bottom between Scorpio and Sagittarius. So the planets have to move through Ophiuchus. And so every kind of beginning of December, the sun will predictably be in Ophiuchus. Now, Ophiuchus is all about healing. It's linked to the ancient Egyptian god Imhotep. So it's all around kind of wisdom, self-knowledge. There's a lot of people feel, especially kind of end of November, December, they start to feel this lull. Now, I'm December baby born, so normally December, I love it. It's Christmas, it's all that kind of what is happening, the holidays. But for me, these last few years, I've really felt I'm usually ill. We've usually had to kind of change the dates that we've done these podcasts. Usually, I haven't got a voice. I usually find that my respiratory heat, something is going on with it. So when I knew what was happening and what has been happening purely by following the Chinese metaphysics, because from November, December, and January, it's kind of linked to the winter months, but it's also linked to the water months. So there's a lot of kind of, and water is linked to our kidneys. So protecting our kidneys, spirituality, ears. And I've had all these problems that started to coming up, the throat, everything. So once I realized, okay, we're coming to these months, I needed to start to take care, extra care of what was kind of going on for me. So this is where we are at the moment. And the full moon that we've just had last weekend was in Taurus, not Gemini. So again, it's all around the senses, the throat, the thyroid. Most people get burnt out by at the end of the year because they think it's a go, go, go. We've got to kind of end this year on a high. Well, actually, the water months are all about slowing down. Let's take things easy. It's not about go, go, go. So I thought it was important to share where we are pretty much now. So if we kind of look at kind of where we're moving in, 2026 is a one universal year. So 2025 has all been about the nine, so endings, tying up loose ends. And one of the things I would say as you go into 2026, make peace. Make peace with all those people that you don't want to make peace with. It is all about forgiveness. It is about letting go. It is about how can I move forward into this new cycle. And the one universal year is all about higher purpose. And the theme for 2026 is at the crossroads. Where are you at your life now? Because you have the power to change. And there is this kind of link between fate and destiny. Now, when we kind of look at your chart, everybody says, oh, I can, my chart is fixed. It's fixed to a certain degree. It's fixed in that the time of birth you were born, the parents that you were born to, where you were born, society, culture, all those are fixed, but the destiny is not fixed. There is so much opportunities that can kind of show and present itself. And the answers lie in your natal chart, whether it's Chinese astrology, whether it's astrology, Western, sidereal, even human design. The answers are all there if you actually take the time to look at it. So when I kind of looked at this, what was the theme for this year? It was very much about at the crossroads, and you have the power to change and the potential to change. So if we look at kind of what the number one represents, it's all about new beginnings, setting up almost kind of where do you kind of start, where are you now? Are you looking at changing your job? Are you looking at retraining? Uh, are you feeling pulled in new directions? A lot of clients that I'm looking and sort of working with are pretty much saying, I just feel there's something coming, there's a change, there's a shift. And you've probably experienced it yourself with your clients. There is this almost kind of change in direction. People either want to move homes, move towns, move cities. But it's also that change and that strong call to reinvent and look back. I always say, look back at the last 9 years, has anything changed? Are you kind of giving yourself that huge pat on the back? How far you've actually come. So it's all about confidence. And as we move into 2026, the new word is self-esteem. It's about really kind of looking at your confidence because as we move through the period, it's very much about if you can't hide. You can't hide especially as we move through the period nine. So let's look at kind of the dates. These are just some dates for your transits, but I also think it's kind of significant. Usually Jupiter stays in one sign. It stays in the one sign for a year and it may retrograde back into a different sign, but usually it's only once. This is how unique 2026 is because Jupiter moves twice. It moves into Cancer on the 22nd of June, and then at the end of September, it moves into Leo. Two different energies, water and fire, which is pretty much the theme for 2026. So if we look at kind of Cancer, the sign of Cancer, it's all about emotional awareness. It's all about family, home, your emotional body. How much do you know within your emotional body? It's also linked to sensitivity, heightened awareness, homeland, boundaries. We'll see I talk about it a little bit later, but we'll see kind of increase in kind of food, housing, care systems. All these are starting to kind of shift. And resources, shared resources. The thing I can say about 2026 and 2027 is about collaboration versus competition. Competition is gone. It's all about collaboration, working together, shared resources. And as we look at kind of Jupiter moving into Leo, again, that is leadership. Where are you taking leadership in your life? Identity, power, visibility. Leo is very much about, hi, show hands. But also, there's another sign of Leo. It can actually want to be behind the camera. I always kind of think of Leo as that cowardly lion from The Wizards of Oz. You know, I need some courage. So, this is all about this energy of moving. Once you kind of know thyself, if you take anything from this podcast today, it's about know thyself and really get to know your warts and alls and everything about your self. Because Leo is very much about self-expression and where are you hiding and where are you being dishonest with your life. So it's going to be pretty interesting. Again, there's some dates for you. So we've got the Mercury retrogrades. So they're coming in February, June, and November. And what I wrote, I've made some notes because I wanted to kind of talk about sort of these, when we work with true sidereal, the the planets are very much moved through the constellations, especially Mercury. It's a fast moving planet. So each constellation has a different size. So depending on the size of that constellation is how long the planet will stay in there. So Pisces is quite a large constellation. And during this retrograde, it's going to go from Pisces, then it's going to revert back into Aquarius. So this is, if we think about it, February 26, we would have just moved into the new fire horse year. So again, it's all about emotional reality. Where are you? Where are you now in your life? Where are you life in relationship, work, career? It will ask you to really focus what is happening with you now. Then as we move into June, it moves into Gemini, which is all about communication. Gemini is fast, it's quick, it's speed, it's lightning information. Also, June will be a very particular month for us because it's also linked to the fire horse month. So there'll be lots of things going on, communication spread, lots of kind of be interesting to see what would be happening in the tabloids, what would be the gossip of going on around the world, who will be taking center stage in June. And then as we move towards the end of the year, it retrogrades into Virgo, which is very much a theme. 2026 is going to be light that fire and let it burn. As we move into 2027, it's going to be all about cleaning up. It's time to clean up the mess. Because what happens is when we break things down and we kind of almost kind of get rid of it, we have to rebuild. And like I said, if you're in the business or if you are kind of bricks and mortar business or anything online, you cannot go back to the old ways of working. This is going to be pretty significant for each and every one of us, especially in the business field. And then we have the solar eclipses. Again, it's Leo and Aquarius. So very much about identity, collaboration. Who are you serving? You know, who are you leading? Are you stepping up to the plate? So this is the solar eclipses, and these are the lunar eclipses. So solar and lunar, and this one in March will be a total lunar eclipse, and the one in August will also be a total, but this will be a south lunar eclipse. This is being Leo. So again, August is kind of what we would call the metal month. So again, fire, Leo, heats metal. So I'm predicting lots of kind of tech systems breaking down, travel. Usually most people are on holiday, usually around August. So there's going to be lots of kind of disruption. I don't want to make this webinar all doom and gloom. I promise. I promise there is light at the end of the tunnel. But I wanted to kind of introduce you to kind of and really talk about this period 9, for many people who are not even thinking, well, what is period 9? What are you talking about? I've never heard about it. Now, you might have heard of the Crimson Horse because it's everywhere. You look on social media, everyone is talking about the Fire Horse 2026 because with this particular fire horse and the blood goat, which will be in 2027, these only go around every 60 years. So if you look at kind of where we were 60 years ago, are there kind of signs, patterns of what is happening now, especially war, the things what we are seeing, this disruptions, the violence, the protests, are they mirroring what we saw in 1966? So again, let's talk about period 9, and businesses will never be the same. So from 2024 to 2043, actually, by 2024, we'll be in period 1. So it's a fire cycle and it's ruled by fire. Fire rules visibility, speed, innovation, but it's also you pleased to know, Wendy? It's the rise in feminine leadership. It's all about women starting to take back their voice, starting to kind of step into their power. And fire rules the heart, the eyes. So we'll also see a rise in kind of maybe heart-centered feeling, but also maybe heart problems, things like that. I would really start to kind of look at your health next year, pay attention to how you are feeling. And in what does this mean for businesses? So in period 9, you always will fall apart, hiding behind a brand, playing small, ignoring tech, operating from burnout. Fire exposes everything that is out of alignment. People talk about AI. AI is it's here. It's not the case of it's now all of a sudden. We're now using it more often, but AI has been around for quite a while. And we're often seeing a lot of kind of people, their jobs are being displaced by AI. And this is my call to businesses. You have to adapt. You can't just sit by the side and say, okay, well, you have to take, okay, what can I use this for? What can I use this kind of integrate AI, as I said, without losing your soul? AI, it's already shown up. You're being asked to be seen. You feel pressure to evolve or pivot. And if you are starting to feel that, then I would really take note of where it is in your life that you are being called to change. It could be relationships breaking down. It could be a change in career. It could be where you want to move. Or it could be that you actually think, do you know what? I just don't like being in the job that I'm in. This is all about pivoting and how you use your energy. This isn't just change. It's a brand new frequency. This is literally like we can never go back. This is like we are and it's no coincidence that Pluto is in Capricorn. Lots of people say that Pluto's in Aquarius. It's not. It's in Capricorn, and it moved into Capricorn last year, just as period 9 moved in 2024. So Capricorn is all about government, money, finances, banking. Everything around the world is starting to crumble, and if it's not solid, then it's going to go. So this is all about how can we adapt and change. So, how can you thrive in period 9? Well, one of the first things is get a reading. I do period 9, almost kind of resets. Are you kind of aligned with period 9? It's about being emotionally intelligent. Where are you energetic, resilient? Build a clear magnetic digital presence, offer depth, not noise. One of the things with fire, it will bring to the forefront those who are not authentic. So you've probably starting to see it the way that social media is changing. There's a lot more collaboration. I've noticed it on my social media. It isn't just one person now. They're starting to bring in different collaborations. And like I said at the start, it's all about collaboration, cross leveraging. It's not about competition. And it's about moving with purpose, not panic, and use tech and AI as tools. They're not replacement. AI can't replace you. It can't replace your compassion. It can't replace your heart. It is all about how can I be authentic? How can I serve my clients and do it from that place? Yes, you'll see the jobs of kind of copywriters, all those things that, especially when it comes to research, yes, those will be probably replaced by AI. But again, like I said, you can't teach AI to be compassionate and have that presence and be emotionally intelligent. So it's also the era of spiritual awakening. Most people now are starting, I mean, you see it all the time now. Everybody's a guru, and you're starting to see, who is the real, please step forward kind of thing. This is about being authentic and trust and building that trust. Your clients know and love you. So keep building that trust. Again, it's about truth telling, emotional attention, intuition, women's leadership. If you are a woman and you're wondering, okay, I want to start up a business, then collaborate. See other people, see other like-minded, or even say to your husband, you know what, I've got an idea. Can you, and there is a huge shout out to men, back the women in your life. Or if you are looking around, look at kind of any women that you would think, okay, yeah, maybe you've got a great idea. I can support you. It's also about beauty, aesthetics. You'll see a lot more that coming around creativity, visibility. The sacred feminine is returning. Technology is merging with consciousness, healing through honesty rather than avoidance, and remembering who you were before the world told you who you to be. So again, it's going back to the old know thyself. And then if we look at kind of the first calling came in around sort of 2014, it was the start of the awakening for people. I know myself, I really started to kind of feel the shift around 2008, 2009 personally, but then I started to kind of move into my kind of healing, started to learn, Reiki, energy, all those modalities started to unfold. And if you probably look at the ones around you, that's when you first started that almost kind of, something is changing. Like I said, most people left careers, ended relationships, experienced identity dissolutions. They woke up one morning and thought, why am I here? What is my purpose? They wouldn't have said that probably 20 years ago, what is my purpose? But it was very much about what am I here for? And if you look and know the almost kind of the essence of that meaning, what is my purpose? That is a spiritual calling. It's not something to take lightly. And like I said, most people probably started to kind of do that spiritual training, awakened intuitive abilities. People started to wake up and realize, oh, actually, there is something I can go with. We're pulled more towards metaphysics, astrology, human design, tarot, divination, Reiki, feng shui. Everybody started to kind of feel a sort of remembering, pretty much like mine did in January of this year. And it's really interesting that when you look at your chart, there is a section within my chart that kind of tells me I've done this before many lifetimes. So then we look at kind of the second wave. This is all about kind of the burnt out leaders, the people who outgrew their identities, and it's linked in with the COVID that came in 2020, and everybody started to kind of realize actually there's more to life than my job. So a lot more businesses were started to unfold, and then oh, I can't. It's not letting me move. We've had a tech.
Is anything? Try it now. No? Oh, no. All right, lady.
We
Let
just
me
love live technology.
Right, let's reset. Okay, try it now. You should be okay.
Okay. Um,
Just move your arrows.
okay. Yay.
Yay.
Okay. Right. Okay. So, as I said, 2026 is the year of the Crimson Horse. But I want to kind of say as well, hang on 2 seconds. It's also linked in very much with the what's going to be happening in 2027. So we have the Fire Horse, the Crimson Horse, and the Blood Goat. These two pretty much work in comparison together. So uh, the fire horse is all about fast, fiery, instinctive, truth revealing, impossible to ignore. So it's all about quick movements. We thought 2025 was fast, 2026 is going to be even faster. And it's about kind of following your path, and if you have this almost kind of feeling, deep feeling of I need to pivot, then pivot. Don't wait until 2026. If you feel that almost kind of inspiration that I need to retrain or change direction, do it now before actually waiting, because most people are going to think, oh, it's going to pass. Nah, it's not going to pass. It's you're being pushed, almost kind of just if you feel that you've stepped off your soul path, this particular year is going to bring you back on it with a bump. So if we kind of look at kind of in particular, the Crimson Horse, it's a rare and powerful year. So this horse appears only once every 60 years. It's dynamic, it's transformative, and it's fast moving. Again, this is not a passive year. This is a year that's going to demand clarity, alignment, and intention. And if we look at kind of the last fire horse was in 1966, where we had massive social upheaval, feminine power was rising. I've made some notes here of what was actually coming in. So we had almost kind of the Vietnam War. We had this almost kind of cultural reinvention, global tension, conflict, technology breakthroughs. And then if we go back even further, 60 years prior to that, in 1906, we actually saw the rise of Alzheimer's, in that this particular Alois Alzheimer presented his findings. So I was quite surprised when I read about that. I was like, wow, it seems to be kind of like a newish thing, but actually it was way back in 1906. So 2026 mirrors 1996, but with the added fire of period 9. So this is where those emotional and spiritual stakes are going to be even higher. And broke the old world open. 2026 is about building a new one. This is where people have to realize we are moving into, I want to say, a galactic community that we are not going to see in our lifetime, but that is the way it's starting to move. The old ways of the fear, the pain, the judgment, all how we feel on a daily basis, it's all going to be moved through compassion of the heart. How can I help you? How can I be of service? Instead of doing everything through one, it now has to be through collaboration and being almost kind of challenging the norms, breaking down what we think is the norm, because it has to change, and it will be changing whether we like it or not. And as I said, it's that spiritual fire, it's the truth. So how do we navigate 2026? And I love this quote by Edward Bach. I don't know if any of you are familiar with Bach flower essences. And this quote is: walk the path of your soul and you are happy and healthy. Deviate from the path and you become unhappy and ill. Happy comes first, healthy follows. So 2026 teaches us exactly why it's time to change the conversation. It's about how do we have those conversations that are needed, and actually live the path of your soul. So 2024 awakened the fire, 2025 carried it forward, and 2026 asks you to feel it. This is the year your intuition becomes your strategy, your emotion becomes intelligence, and your soul becomes the compass that leads you home. And if we kind of look at kind of how can we now work and navigate through this. So here's the how can I say okay, here's the negative. If you're a business owner in 2026, you are going to experience low sales, high costs, and you've probably seen it already. Um, Excess stock that you cannot get rid of. Now, by February or March of next year, if you are a business that is in production or manufacturing and you have got excess stock, you need to find a way to get rid of it. Whether that's reducing it, whether that's redistributing it, or whether that is kind of, having promotional deals, because you cannot move into 2026 with excess stock, because everything is going to be more. If you think online is busy, it's going to be even busier, because everything is now going to be fast. People are not going to be waiting for things. They want it now and they want it yesterday. So it's pretty much about, we'll start to see job reductions, high competition, because there isn't any jobs out there. People are saying that there isn't no jobs. I can't find a job. So they're going to be lower pay, lower opportunities. So we're going to see volatility in the stock market. We're going to see a huge increase in fear, paranoia, depression, anxious, aggression, low integrity. You've already probably started to see it. There's protests, there's violence. We've got it here in the UK, rise in knife crimes. It's starting to kind of. I look at things and I don't recognize what am I seeing? Where is the world going? And it's about kind of, there is almost this under pressure of kind of financial situations, governments, local authorities, they haven't got the money. And so it's about, okay, well, what do we do? You're thinking, right, you're giving me all this, but what is it that we actually do? This is the time that, again, I've been saying it throughout of this podcast, collaboration. Share your ideas, share your resources. If you feel the actual feel, I need to change my direction, my job, upskill, retrain. Is there anything that you think, okay, what can I train in? So what I'm seeing is that there is starting to be this era of rule bending, no kind of, almost kind of lack of integrity. People are, not respecting employers, not there's almost kind of these rule breakers. And so there is going to be a rise in almost kind of competency, HR. If you're in the field of HR, you're going to be needed more than ever. If you are accountants, finances, how can you now cross leverage the work that you do? If you feel that you're going to be retrenched or restructured, the businesses are starting to restructure because a lot of things are becoming automated. How can you do that? Can you freelancers go freelancing, look at where you're in now, what opportunities are coming your way, especially in the almost kind of the metaphysics field, but also the health, the wellness. There will be a rise in mental illness. So how do we kind of cope that, navigate that? So if you are training, I would, and you want to go into that field, especially the spiritual field, we call them the light workers, but your voice is needed more than ever now. And if you have trained many years ago and you think, I just don't have the confidence to do that, well, then just take another course that will get you to that confidence, because this is all about how can I be of service and come from it from a compassionate heart, and again, carried it forward. And it's time to change that conversation. I tried to do it as fast as I
You did
could.
a
There was a lot.
fantastic job. Fantastic job. But wow, That's a lot of heavy stuff.
There is a lot of heavy stuff, yeah. And like I said, I don't want to be kind of like I don't like when they say the Debbie Downer, or the doom and gloom, but the light
But
at the end of
Debbie,
the tunnel.
it's just so important to share it, and you did it really well because this is really helpful information for people.
Yeah.
And I know we can all think of these moments that we've been having that fit right in with what you've been talking about.
Yeah.
So this is really, really great information. So thank you.
Thank you.
No, I mean
Um,
there are things in here that are true, and like you said, some of this has already begun.
yeah,
Some of this heaviness, the everything you talked about, where everything's changing, old systems falling apart, breaking apart. It was an education to me to learn about the 60-year cycle. I
yeah,
see how this matches up with 1966. I mean, yeah, there's a lot of the similarities. I know we're all about breaking cycles now, and I've been saying that in my in the work that I do, and in the channel stuff that comes through with the healing circles. It lines up with very much everything you're saying.
yeah,
This is the time to be authentic. This is the time to trust your intuition.
yeah,
So internally, what can you do to go with your lead by your heart versus your head, because we've all
yeah,
been doing that for too long. And where does that lead you? And it may make you uneasy at first, and it may be a little wobbly when it comes to job changes and things like that. That's obviously a tense situation, but from my own experience, that's you said something earlier, like, or actually it was what the Bach said, where
yeah. Flower essence, yeah,
yeah, you can when you stray from your path, you will be unhappy and unhealthy.
yeah.
And Wendy and I can vouch for that. Whenever we've strayed from our paths, we've talked about it multiple times in our broadcasts. We realized we didn't have a choice when we tried to walk another path. It made us unhappy and unhealthy, and those two things are linked.
Oh,
Yeah.
completely. And his whole ethos, and I trained in flower essences, and it was so interesting when I was kind of going through everything that I have done over the years, pretty much since 2008, and I was like, oh, check, check, check. And then I started to look at all the energy practices that I changed in, like especially the flower essences. And I've gone back to them recently because they help so much. And his whole ethos was that disease begins in the emotions. And everything that we're moving through, especially over the next few years, our emotions are going to take a battering. They are going to be up and down. Confidence. I mean, if you look at kind of social media, everybody is kind of, yes, hiding behind a camera, but it's about you are being called out to to share your voice, to come from that place of heart. And, most people will now recognize BS very, very quickly, and they will navigate, deviate away from it because it doesn't feel, um, if you look back to kind of the way social media was created, it was about joining forces, reconnecting, sharing your photos, what you love to do, the baking, the baking, all those kind of things, your family, everything. And now it's gone, it went a bit messy, but now people are starting to kind of reconnect. And like you said, when you deviate from the path, every time I try to kind of go, okay, maybe I'll try something different from astrology. Maybe I'll move away from astrology. It brings me right back with like a bang. And I had to kind of surrender to the fact that, okay, you want me to do this? Okay, let's go with it. And I've got a discount for your, so they don't have to have a reading with me, but I do have a 20% discount for your followers. So they just need to cut the link period 9 in the coupon, and they
So
get
how do
20% off.
people get in touch with you,
So
Debbie?
they can either email me, Debbie Best True Sidereal. So they can kind of go onto the website, debbiebesttruesidereal.com, and they can kind of book there, or they can email me. They can follow me on Instagram. I can send you all my links. I think I did on the next page actually. Let's have a look. Oh no, I think you're
Oh
back
no,
on.
yeah,
Don't
yeah.
worry.
Right.
But yeah, they
But
can
it
kind
does,
of.
sorry to interrupt, but it does have your website
Oh,
URL
there we are.
at the bottom of the
There we
slide that we're
are.
looking
Yeah,
at right now. So for anyone who wants to get in touch with Debbie, go to
yeah.
debbiebus.truesidereal.com and start there. And you've got a contact link there, right?
Yes, absolutely. So they
Yeah.
can kind of and just use that coupon code period 9 and you get 20% off. And I would highly recommend having a reading, as I say, if it's not from me, but from somebody, but at least know what is happening where you are now. What is, and especially when I kind of work with the kind of the Chinese metaphysics. So you'll get your sidereal astrology chart reading, but I'll also bring in your Chinese astrology. And what I love with that, it actually tells you where you are now in a particular lux cycle. So where are you moving through? And these lux cycles last around 10 years. And it's very interesting when I start to kind of look at clients where they're starting to feel that shift and I look at their chart and say, you've actually moved into your new your lux cycle, and it's very different because within that each lux cycle you get a different element, you get a different thing that you're meant to learn in those next 10 years. So
Mhm.
it's very, very different to what I do normally with the sidereal, but it all blends in together. It all meshes in beautifully.
Well,
Awesome.
wonderful. Well, thank you for that generous 20% off reading. That's fantastic. And I just love your summary, Debbie, that this is the year your intuition becomes strategy and your emotion becomes intelligence and your soul the compass that leads you home. I think that's just such a great, great summary.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for being our guest once again, Debbie. What we've been doing. Yeah, you can sign off now because we just got 2 slides. You don't have to be on for them. That Wendy and I will talk about our stuff, and then we do things a little differently now. But
Yeah.
thank you once again. Your broadcasts are usually one of the most viewed that we have. So
Oh, wow.
we'll make
Okay.
sure. Yeah, please share. I'll send you the link when
Yeah.
we get it going. But
So
yeah, I think everybody needs
wonderful.
to know about this all the things coming,
So
Yeah.
so,
And they
so
can
that we
always
can
reach out to me. So, yeah.
yeah.
so wonderful insights and happy holidays, Debbie. Thank
And
you
you
so
too,
very much.
both. Thank you. Take care, both. Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
All right. So my question for everyone as we process all this great info is a lot of this ties in with just past life energy and energy that doesn't serve us anymore. So what do you most need to heal and release? And I just have to say I've so enjoyed the readings that I've had with Debbie. She really does a fantastic job. So highly recommend her for that. And check out my latest book, which is Regression Healing 2, Joe and Marilyn. And let's just let go of the past that's not serving us anymore and be ready to embrace the realities of where we are now. And I think the information Debbie shared, it just helps us move more gracefully through some of those more challenging realities that can be there. I mean, she put it in a sentence, and a lot of spiritual solopreneurs are finding sales are down, expenses are up. So what do you do about that? How do you just remain in that heart-centered place to be in service and just take care of yourself and your family, etc. So please check out my website and Greg's, and that's on the next website or next slide here.
Well, actually,
Greg, back to you
my
with your
books. I
book.
just want to before we get to that one is this slide, and it's about my 2 books that are out there. Um, so I published the second one, Your Love Will Make the Difference, in September. And I just like to ask for anyone who has read either of these books to please go to Amazon.com where the books are, scroll to the very bottom of the page, and please leave a kind review. I'd appreciate it if it's a high star review. 4 stars would be fantastic. But yeah, that's the second book, Your Love Will Make the Difference, came out in September. I've been getting a lot of great feedback, and I've done a couple of interviews, and it's would love to hear your feedback on Amazon. So, Wendy.
Wonderful. And join us January 12th for the next episode of the Waking Up Spiritually podcast. Our website again is wakingupspiritually.com. We so appreciate you subscribing to our YouTube channel, and the link for that is here. And appreciate also you rating and reviewing us on Apple iTunes or wherever you choose to listen to your podcast, because that helps other like-minded people be able to find the content. Visit Greg at his website, which is GREGG Kirk, KIRK.com, and visit me at my website to learn how to work with me at WendyRoseWilliams.com. And have wonderful holidays, everyone. And we look forward to seeing you in the new